So let's look at some nice interesting progressions that we can use with our sus4, little 2-chord vamps. So one obviously that we've looked at is we can go sus4 to minor 1. So the hit, remember it's always like, it wants to be a 5 chord. So we can go, let's say I want to add to that chord progression. So this works really well. What we can do is we can go, this is now coming, everything's coming down. When we put this chord in, this note in the bass, this suddenly becomes, it's a minor, C minor 7. And let's say I want to move on from here, so I can come up 4, and leave this where it is. Now look, it's become a sus4. So now I can move it down to here. So basically what I've done is I've gone from here, I've moved everything down a tone, then my bass has come up to F, so a tone below where it was to start with. Now this has made this chord into, by moving the bass I've changed this chord into a sus4 chord. And now I just move everything down again another tone. And again it wants to be F is chord 5 of B flat. So and I can just go back to where I started from if I want to. So that's a really nice shape, and we can use that to go around as much as we want. So we could go. I recommend just practicing just that, and you just think about. Don't think about the chord. Don't think about the theory when you're doing these shapes. You want to target the part of the brain that uses shapes and muscle memory. The subconscious part of the brain. So we're not really thinking about it, and that way you divorce yourself from the theory and you just focus on the shapes, and the subconscious will grab onto that, and then you'll suddenly find that you just find these shapes really easily. So if we were doing it here, this is using this shape, I could move it up to here. That works really nicely too. So that works really well. We can just try moving the sus4 around all over the place. So let's take a different one. Okay, let's say we want E flat sus4. Here's my E flat. I want a major chord, a tone below E flat. Okay, so I'm just going to move this around in the steps of a tone. We've got another nice one that we can use, which is something that was used by Chic. This is not the original key, but we're going to stay here. This is a nice, this little figure here. This is, I think they were the first people to use it. I don't ever remember hearing it before Everybody Dance came up. So. Flat, straight A flat. We move up here, this is actually a diminished. And then, here we go, look, we've got an A flat over B flat. That's our sus4 there. And it works really nicely with this shape. So that's our sus4. So remember, when we talk about the sus, we're talking suspended fourth. Which means it's suspended, it wants to drop to the third. We can let it drop to the third or not. Another really nice little vamp you can do is you could say, okay, well I'm going to take, okay, let's pick another key. Let's say B flat sus. Alright, so here's my B flat. Here's my chord, a major chord, a tone below B flat. Now I'm going to bring it down to this voicing, second of our two voicings. Quite a nice like Latin one. You can use this for kind of nice for kind of montunos. And you can just stay on the B flat. You can then move that round if you wanted to. What we're doing is we're taking our, this is our sus, this is our C sharp sus4, and then we're resolving it. Remember, it wants to be chord 5, so we're letting it become chord 5 here. So you'll hear it all over the place. And so I think the two most important pieces of theory to take away from this is, firstly, it's the suspended fourth, which replaces the third, nothing to do with fifths. And secondly, it always wants to aspire to be chord 5, and we can use that to our advantage. So I hope that's helpful. Like I said in the previous video, have some fun with it. It's a really, really useful chord. And if ever you want to change key, you just move to another sus chord somewhere else and then drop it to chord 1. So let's say I'm messing around in, I don't know, G minor. Okay, so I'm going to go from, here's my D sus to G minor. And at some point I'm going to decide I'm just going to pick a key completely at random. So I'm going to say I'm going to go to E flat. I'm going to go to E flat minor from G minor. Okay, so there's different ways I could do that. I'm not going to bother with any of that. I'm going to use my get out of jail free chord. So I'm just going to do. Okay, now I want to get to my E flat minor, so I'm going to need a B flat sus to get to, because the B flat is going to be, or this B flat is going to be my 5 chord in the key of E flat, major or minor. So I'm going to at some point I'm going to go to this sus chord here, and it's going to take me there. So I don't need to worry about anything else. I'm going to go to that sus from this sus. It's usually best if you just decide to kind of move around from one sus chord to another sus chord, rather than from my G minor chord. Although I could do it, it's going to work really well if I do that, but we're not going to do that. We're going to take our sus chord. So I go around in my G minor. I didn't stay on the sus very long, but let's slow it down. Let's say I'm going to use. So you can just decide what key you want to go to, and then just bung in a sus4 in front of it, and you're there. So like I say, have some fun with it. You'll start spotting it all over the place in all sorts of tunes. Now you know what it sounds like. And the two main shapes, like I say, if you want to find it, you take G. I want a major triad over G here. Then I can choose, once I've got that shape, I can move that up here or down here if I want. These are the two most useful.